All right, so let's have a conversation around the weekend politics. Joining me in studio right now is Martin Andati, who is a political analyst. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Betty.
So let's talk about this grand reception, in Bomet, and the possible formation of NASA, National Super Alliance. First of all, the people who were there, were they the right people to be in that particular rally, especially with the talks of NASA, National Super Alliance?
Well, NASA is being fronted by Musalia Mudavadi, the NC leader. But, the reception was good and the crowd was big. But there are also issues that need to be looked at critically. Why would Raila not have been present?
Yes, that's why I was asking, were they the right people there?
Yes, at the heart of opposition politics, you can't talk about opposition politics minus Raila. He sent in Mbadi, the chairman of ODM. But an event of that magnitude and of that seriousness at least would warrant Raila to have been present. But I think there could be some talks, although there are conflicting signals coming from Kanu. Because 2 days ago, the senator for West Pokot, Professor Lenyangapua, is on record as saying that they are going to support, as Kanu, they are going to support President Uhuru's re-election. So, and you see, Gideon was very careful, the Baringo senator.
Yes.
He is not coming out and talking about NASA. He is talking about 2022. So you see, their supremacy was in Rift Valley.
Let's talk about Raila Odinga not going for this particular homecoming. What would be the reason behind it? Is it that there's still talks, and is there still controversies in this in ODM?
They must be still talking, and you cannot. Raila is the engine of opposition politics, and Raila sits at the heart of the politics of this country. In fact, one guy who will determine who becomes president in 2017 is Raila Odinga. Because if he decides to back somebody and bring everybody else on board, they will give Jubilee a run for their money.
Okay.
If he decides he's running and the other guys walk out, Uhuru retains power. So you see, he is very critical in the whole equation. In fact, he's the most critical person in that whole equation.
All right.
So his presence would have made a very big difference. But Isaac Ruto is in a quandary. If he comes out fully, the way he's coming out now, and says that he's supporting the opposition, it might not be very easy for him. I think Joyce Laboso would have to make life very hard for him.
All
and
right.
DP Ruto is a Machiavellian. So what he is going to do is to unleash. And he will go there all guns blazing to make sure that they annihilate Isaac Ruto.
All right.
Of course, it will not be very easy.
Yeah.
Isaac Ruto is also a fighter. And when he became the chairman of the Council of Governors, it really gave him a platform, serious platform, national platform. And he did very well as the chairman of the Council of Governors. So the supremacy war now, there is Gideon on one side, there is Isaac, who is working with Gideon, but then there is also William. They fight for who controls the Rift Valley stake.
All right. Yeah. If NASA is born, for sure, would it be a force to reckon with come 2017? What impact would it have on the political landscape?
If NASA is born and they agree on a candidate, because that's where the main issue is.
Yeah.
How do you...
Isn't it obvious that it would be Raila Odinga if ODM is part of it?
In terms of numbers, Raila has the numbers.
Yeah.
In terms of MPs, he has a majority. In terms of senators. Yeah. So, but you see, there has been the argument that despite having all the numbers and the support, Raila has not delivered a presidency. That is the argument that Musalia and Kalonzo are trying to use. But if you are to do any nomination based on whatever number, even the popular vote, Raila will still emerge tops.
Okay.
So if you call even MCS, get all the MCAs in the coalition and they do a nomination, Raila will still emerge. So they are now in a dilemma. Do you settle on Raila as the candidate and get these other guys to back him? Or do you work out some boardroom arrangement where you agree on Musalia or on Kalonzo? And the question is, it will be based on what? Because Raila will tell you, I have the numbers.
Yes, yes.
I have a national appeal. I can put in more money than the rest of the guys. So that is their main dilemma. They must be able to agree. Now, if you bring in Musalia, what position does he get? Because the current constitution has only two key positions, the one of president and deputy. So it creates a challenge. Then the Kalenjin question. Currently, the Kalenjins have the deputy presidency. So the only other seat which would entice them is the presidency. So does Raila stop running now and support Gideon? You know, those are dynamics that that's
so
where
with
the main
those dynamics, Martin, really realistically looking at it, are we likely to have a national super alliance with all those dynamics that you're talking about?
I don't see it happening.
Okay.
What I'm seeing is Raila might end up running with Musalia, and Kalonzo might end up running with Wetangula.
Okay.
Because it's not easy, you know, getting you know, coming back to Kanu. Retired President Moi has still stronghold on Kanu, and he decides what happens to Kanu.
Yes.
Gideon is a chairman, but Gideon does not make the final decision. So, you know, Moi has issues with Raila. He tried the coup in 1982, and then when he got into Kanu in 2001, during the merger of NDP and Kanu, he managed to break Kanu and walk away with a substantial block of Moi's support. And out of that, they were able to lose the election. So he actually broke Kanu into pieces, and they have never recovered. So I don't think Moi has forgiven him for that. So looking at all those dynamics, the only arrangement where Moi would agree is where if they were to agree to support Gideon. But you know, that also poses a challenge. Uhuru is Moi's political son. Gideon is a biological son. So does Moi run two sons, you know, one against the other? Yeah. It becomes a challenge because it's Moi who pulled Gideon from, who pulled Uhuru from the Oblivion and dragged him into politics. Yes, yes. So it is going to be very difficult for Moi to get Gideon to challenge Uhuru, even if they were to settle on Gideon as a candidate. Okay. So you see, looking at all those dynamics, it poses quite a challenge. Let's talk about, you know, the political landscape, you know, in the South Rift. Yeah. Isaac Ruto, you know, he was very energetic and aggressive, if you remember, during the senatorial by-elections a couple of months ago. And after that, he went completely under until now, when we're seeing him trying to come up again. Is he stable? You know, is he a stable, you know, politician right now, because he seems to have these fluctuations. Right now he's at the top, sometime then he goes down. Isaac has Would he deliver? He has been a rebel all through, from his university days. And he is not a guy who is scared of losing elections. The only challenge is, you know, the Kanu looked like they were very sure that they were going to win the Kericho by-election. You remember the by-election in Bomet, where CCM won? Yeah. They put in quite a bit of resources. And the DP must have woken up to the reality that if he does not step in Kericho, they were going to lose. And if they lost Kericho to Kanu, you know, that was going to be a big blow to the deputy president. Okay. So he had to move in with speed and with serious resources and be able to deliver the Kericho senatorial election. So that blow send Gideon and Isaac back to the drawing board. And I think that is what they have been trying to work on. But when you look at what is happening in the Kalenjin nation, there is a quiet rebellion. And the Kanu orphans, you know, the Moi orphans, the ones who made their money, the Kuleis and the rest of the guys who are out there, they have more or less been alienated. They have been locked out. William has locked them completely out of power and out of government and out of accessing government tenders and resources. You can see Zakai Cheriot. They are part of that team. So they are out there. They are trying to send a message that, look, we are not happy and we have money here and we can cause trouble for you. So I think the most prudent thing for the DP to do, as he runs around the country, he must also try to reorganize his backyard. And you saw that is what former Vice President Kalonzo was talking about. Okay. That the guy is busy out there trying to destabilize them in Ukambani, trying to destabilize the guys in Coast. Yeah. But there is serious trouble brewing in his backyard, especially in the Southeast. Okay. And you also noticed in Elgeyo Marakwet, you saw when Raila went to, he was in Uasin Gishu, he had huge crowds. And in Elgeyo Marakwet, the crowd was very big. Okay. So you see that sends a statement. And you know, when you look at the history of Elgeyo Marakwet, they have voted opposition before. When the rest of the Kalenjins were voting Kanu in 2002, they voted JB Kilimo on DP.
All right.
So they can very easily go against the rest of their Kalenjin brothers and vote opposition. The Kipsigis have not done it before. But you can see there is a problem in Elgeyo Marakwet. There is also a serious problem in Kipsigis land, the South Rift.
All right.
And there are also some issues in Baringo, which the DP needs to address.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Martin Andati, for your insights on that. A lot to talk about in regards to politics, but we'll end it right now there. All right.